Okay, so now we're going to sanitize these vessels so we can clean this yeast, wash the yeast, and harvest it. There you go, sanitized vessel. And I'm going to cover that with a little tiny piece of sanitized aluminum foil, just so it keeps the air out. So take a little piece of this foil here, which has been sanitized, and just kind of put it right over the top. And there you go. Step one is to put some distilled water. This is water I boiled. This is a sterilized funnel as well, so from this point on, everything needs to be sterilized. Mix all this stuff up, so just take the vessel, mix it up. So now what we're going to do is just kind of let this sit and settle. What's going to happen is all this trub and everything, the sediment's going to settle down first, then the yeast, and then there's going to be kind of yeast stuck in suspension above that. So I'm actually going to add a little bit more water to this because I think I probably need a little bit more water. There we go. We'll just let it kind of sit here on the edge so we can kind of see it and monitor it. And when it's done, we're going to pour it into the 2-liter Erlenmeyer flask. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just stir the mash a little bit more. Just make sure it's all mixed in. There's no hot spots here. The recipe calls to do this every 20 minutes. Cover it up real quickly so you don't want to lose any heat. Alright, so now we've got some separation here. You can see this top layer is beer. From that layer down is going to be the yeast. The method I use for brewing really doesn't create much trub, but there's probably some trub at the very, very bottom. You probably can't see it, but I'm going to go ahead and dump this yeast into the Erlenmeyer flask. Try to be careful about it. If you zoom in on the Erlenmeyer flask, you can kind of see the yeast are still kind of moving around in there. Basically because of the motion I'm creating, but there's going to be millions and millions of yeast. I didn't want to create this overflow situation, so I'm going to cover this back up and let this settle down, and hopefully it creates a thick layer of creamy white yeast here. I don't think there's a lot of trub in here. A little bit, some sediment, but you can kind of see if you look down in there, you can see some darker pieces of matter. That's the trub or sediment that's kind of settled out a little bit. You can still see there is some chunks of yeast in there. So, but this is all going to be wasted now. I think we have plenty of yeast for what we're making. Alright, let's mix up the mash one last time before we voile off. Really mixed up well. Put the lid back on before we lose some more heat. Make sure it's all covered. Alright. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to collect some really hot water. I think it's around 200 degrees into my lauter tun, which I've placed conveniently right below the kettle. It's been 60 minutes. Timer's off. We can open this up and do what's called mashing out. Although I don't think we're going to get up to temp to the 170 because we don't have enough room. This is a recipe that has a lot of grain in it, so it pretty much took up a lot of our room, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. If we can just open this. I'm just going to fill this all the way up. Okay, I think we're kind of reaching the limit of where we want to be on this. Just close this off. That's about the maximum we're going to get into this mash tun. And now what we're going to do is we're going to boil off. We're going to take the first runnings of this beer out. What we're looking for is about that color. We are making a imperial stout, so it is going to be darker. You want this to run pretty clear. You don't want, oops, that's not a problem. You don't want this to have a lot of grain in there. See little particles here and there, but I don't see any big grain pieces left. There goes one. Seen one. Here comes another two. So looks pretty clear. A little bit there. Maybe we'll do one more time. Ooh, that just got really hot. Yep, I'd say we're good to go. So now we're gonna sparge. All right, so now what we're gonna do is just collect the wort from the mash tun. We don't want to do it too quickly, so that's a pretty good pace. I think we'll just let it go up to 3 gallons, and then dump it into our kettle and repeat. We've collected 3 gallons of liquid, and we're going to put it into the kettle. So this process goes along, and then we're going to collect 3.5 gallons more of this delicious wort. Alright, so we've collected another 3.5 gallons of wort, and it's pretty heavy. So that's why I try to do it in batches. We're going to bring it to a boil and add hops soon after. The wort is almost up to a boil. It's at about 204 degrees, so we're going to prepare the hops. We're going to use 3 ounces of this Challenger hop pellets. So what I do is just cut them open and collect them into a single vessel. The wort is boiling. We've got bubbles going there, so we're going to use this hop spider. It's a nylon bag, and we're going to slowly add these hops. Adding the second batch of hops, which is 1 ounce of the East Kent Golding. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm connecting the water source for my immersion wort chiller. So I've got the faucet here. I'm taking this inner piece out, and I've got this adapter, this specialty adapter, which it's an internal adapter, so the threading threads into the inside of the faucet here. So you got to put it in, and then this adapter actually goes to this very complicated looking compression fitting, which is I think 3 different fittings actually. And there you go. So that tube is connected. It's gonna bring hot water to my immersion wort chiller right here. Connect this in. Then I actually have another tube I will use to discharge this out and up into the sink. So that tube is right here. We can turn it on. There you go. What's going to happen now is I'm going to basically transfer this hot wort, boiling wort, through the silicone tubing into this 5-gallon kettle, which has the immersion chiller in it. And then I'm going to turn the cold water on and it's going to chill it down. Once this gets up to basically 5 gallons, I'm going to stop it and I'm going to transfer this over to a primary fermenter, which is sanitizing right now. So this is basically a 3-tier system. 1, 2, and then the ground. Put the primary fermenter on the ground. So I really don't have to do any work here and just let the tubing do the work.